Hey, good morning, Makers Movement. So, it's time to pour a cup of coffee and have a chat. So, here we go. Coffee goes in the cup. Anyway, I'm back. So, I gotta go. I'm talking to my friends. I'm gonna talk to my friends down here in the hole. Come on, let's go to the mortuary. It's not a weekend at Mort's. It's just was a mortuary basement of an old old boarding house. Hi, Bryce. Yes, this is the truth. I slept a long time, and I'm really glad. I was injured recently and have been enjoying healing up. And part of healing for me is to because I have the luxury of being jobless right now, is to sleep until I wake up. Don't be jealous. It's unbecoming. It just is what it is, isn't it? Some days it do be like that. So, I'm down here, and yesterday I got some really good feedback from you guys in the comments, and I'd like more. I'd like more topic suggestion material from you guys, because I'd like these coffee times we have together to mean as much as they can for our work as board makers, and I've got you guys in a tripod this time, a little better angle, a little closer. I noticed yesterday that the sound quality when I'm close to the phone is really good, and I had some folks reach out to me and tell me that they were listening to the YouTubes in their car like a podcast, and I can't afford a podcast right now. I don't know what I really mean by that. I just never did a podcast. But I thought, well, I'll just make sure and be close, you know. Well, so yesterday I came down and I got dusty. Cobwebs and whatnot, and blew out the corners and the floors and turned on all the fans, and yesterday, sure as shooting, I began fixing things. I replaced a broken fan, installed a directional, I'm always pirating fan parts, especially the fan part of the fan. Always pirating those things and building, exhaust and directional air down here, because in the basement, it's a long basement. It goes pretty far. I mean, you can see the dryer vent over there. That's the far wall. It's like probably 75 feet. And it might be less than 75, but it's not 70. Xander, good to see you. So I used to have a drape that separated the two parts of my basement, because there's one little corner of it is a laundry nook over there, and you come downstairs. I had drapes that separated it so that the dust wouldn't migrate over there. But I found out through trial and error that dust won't get over there if I have directional air moving during my work sessions. It actually comes over here, and it'll go out. The airborne dust will go out the side of the house, and the air stays really clear while I'm working. And I have some designs in mind. They're very simple to downdraft all my benches, and I'd like to do those too, and they're not too expensive to pull off. Good morning, Mike Villalobos. Downdrafting a work table is that would be a fun project for me. But it involves canvas bagging the bottom of the table and perforating the top of the table and mounting fans spaced down an inch or two to get the right suction, and just running air down, and then having an exhaust fan on one side with a filter, and that will run. The thing is, I don't do a lot of sanding at the tables. when I make my boards, the only palm sanding left in my process is palm sanding the top. And I used to start with 80, and then I would go to 120 or 150, and then I would go to 200 or 240, and have, you know, the finish of the top of the board be that way. But over time, I kind of pulled back from that smooth top because I loved the rustic finish. It said to the person riding it, it said, yeah, this board is not the same as all the other boards out there. And from the beginning, I also had a little philosophical, I had like little rebellious philosophical bugaboo, which was, you know, the world has just got too much candy, plastic looking stuff in it. It needs some wood grain exposed on it. And it's less work, it's less repetitive stress on your wrists. You know, you got to take care of your body when you're doing this kind of work. Just like venting your sawdust so you don't get it in your lungs and get silicosis. You also need to realize, like, if you want to do fine finishes, then you'll have to get, I think you can see one hiding right back here behind the presses. See back there? There's a $300 Harbor Freight. Or no, it's a Grizzly. Yeah, there's a $300 Grizzly drum sander versus, we've talked about this again and again, versus the $1,400 Sandrite piece of American Trade Glory. Yeah, the big difference between the two, but I can do bellies and bottoms on the Grizzly with flap wheels. So when I want to do candy finishes, I will go and order myself some flap wheels for the Grizzly, and I still won't fuss with doing a lot of palm sanding, because palm sanding, even 100 boards a month, if you're doing 3 degrees of palm sanding on one side, 3 degrees of palm sanding on the other side, depending on original surface conditions, you could really get yourself some carpal tunnel. Not cool. Not cool at all. So, one of the cool ideas we had yesterday, I'd like to do an in-depth video, but I have to complain to you, my friends. I don't have equipment, and I don't have editing software on a computer. I have an iPad Pro, and I use iMovie. If I'm going to edit something, I just slice it up and put it in order with iMovie. And I don't have really good cameras and sound and things like that. So doing a full-on proper video that about it is not really, I'm not in that market. But one of the questions yesterday was about wedging a mold. And I thought today we would just broach the topic, and I'll just talk to you about the basic idea. So if we could go over to the shaping station together, let's, we're almost out of coffee, so I'm gonna make this quick. All right, friends. So I'm gonna stick you guys over here. I gotta figure it out, all right? I want you up nice and high and looking down for a minute. We're gonna try that out. All right, we got this here. Oh, this might work. It's a tripod thing, man. I need to get the tripod that Steve Collins gave me. King Thaddeus gave me the dopest tripod thing. All right, let's see if we can do this. All right. Oh, everything's backward on here. Whoa! The answer is still yes. Yes, we can, my friends. Oh, right. You can see my hands. All right. So, a wedge set. So, you got a press, and you got a top. You got a top mold, and you got a bottom mold. And so, you're looking down your mold, right? So, here's your your top mold, and here's your bottom mold, right? And the back of your molds are straight across. And you have the same contour on, see how the mold goes down that way and goes up the, oh, no, it doesn't. It goes down, it goes down that way and it goes down that way, right? This is not here. Okay. And they fit together, right? So longitudinally, right? Longitudinally, lengthwise, you want to sight down, mark your centers by, you want to close your molds together, right? Close your molds together and make sure that you give them a couple raps with a hammer and put them under a little bit of pressure, wrap them with a hammer so they settle in and then tighten them. And you mark your center, and you want to mark some graduations, okay, on both top and bottom, and get yourself, you know, like that. Then you want to stripe your mold with a chalk line or something and get it so you've got your marks running from the ends of your mold down the sight line of the belly of your mold. You'll have to take them out to do this. And once you've got your molds marked where the centers at the ends are the centers in the middles by, so you don't just measure the middle. It's already complicated, isn't it, friends? You're not just measuring the middle of your mold at the middle. You want to take it from the ends. I have, in order to do that, I have a great tool for that, and it is my classic, I've got this one. It's very flexible. It's your basic, buy it at Harbor Freight. I've got another one that's even longer, but 36 inches or a meter will do for most of my molds here. Or most of my molds. I only have 2 molds now. Wow, nice. For both of my molds. And then what you're going to do is you're going to think about it like this. If this is my top mold, let's just do it in 2 dimensions, and this is my bottom mold, okay? And I want to make, let's just talk about the tip of the tail. And I want to make a tail that goes like a tri-tail, okay? 1, 2, 3, right? We're only going to speak in terms of 2 dimensions, but this we'll have to take this to 3 dimensions next round, okay? I'm going to put a wedge here, here, and here. Now, of course, they're not going to be triangles. I mean, they're not going to be pieces of wood that look like wedges. I only drew it this way to give you a feel for the larger concept. And this one would, of course, have to be, you know, okay, so relax, like everybody take a deep breath, because what this winds up looking like is we're going to take it to the other side. I'm laughing just because of like how that's probably a reasonable thing to take away from that, is that it's supposed to be triangles that are like 2 inches high. That would be hilarious. But what it probably will come out looking like here is, if you think of it in 3 dimensions, all right, when you think of it in 3 dimensions, you're really looking to get your board to go like this. Let's say we just wanted to do tri-tips on the tail, so we still have a flat portion in the middle. I like that. Okay, we know that our board is going to go down this way and it's going to go down that way. See that? It's going to go down a whole bunch till it gets to the end, and then it's going to go across. I am not a good drawer of things, but that tri-section is really, it's like this and that, and that's triangles. So I'll need a triangular wedge on one side and a triangular wedge on the other side. And these wedges need to give me the amount of lift at the tip, so I need to make a measurement there. Okay. I need to make a measurement of how high I want it to lift. Let's just pretend it's me and I'm doing one, and I want to have like just an 1/8 of an inch lift, right? I just want a little bit of a cup at the end, so I do that. Or let's take so I'll take 2 triangular pieces. This is the top down of them, okay? And we're looking top down, but when we look at them lengthwise, they look like this. They're going to be really thin. Really thin. And they're going to be triangular, right? And they're going to be wedges that are triangular shaped. Okay. And they go here and here, right? On the bottom to lift it up. This is the bottom. In my setup. Some people have their molds flipped, and that's awesome. You're awesome. Just translate it. Okay. Now, on the top, the thing is you can't put something on the bottom and not put something on the top. So you're going to match them with 2 top pieces. So you're going to take these 2 thin wedges and you're going to match them with 2 correspondent thin wedges at the top, so that now your force is square. And you're going to stick these 2 here. Oh, it's not no, you're not going to match them. Oh my goodness, that's so wrong. Oh, I love it. I'm wrong. Oh, and I will continue to be wrong. You're going to match them with a piece here that takes this space up. Okay? So you're going to match the difference in a piece. So you got your 2 little wedges at the bottom, right? You're going to match them with a piece that wedges flat and wedges at the top, so that, and it's going, these are horizontal views, okay, of this 2-dimensional, so that this distance is the same as this distance, and it's going to the side view running down. These are going to wedge down to nothing, just like these wedge down. And so it's going to be blended, thinner here and thinner there. And you're going to run these wedges, and that gives you a tri-tail. The same goes, I'm almost out of coffee, but I'm going to get another piece here. Same thing goes, now look, if you're not like getting this, I get it. And I think later on I'll just have to do a nice proper video project after I start a Patreon and have all kinds of subscribers on my YouTube channel. I blow up and go viral. But for now, for a spoon nose, you're gonna make, the spoon nose is removable spoon nose on your existing mold, right? You're gonna make like a, I haven't made a spoon nose, but if I had to try it, and I have confidence this could be done, very thin, very slight wedging, make a beautiful little spoon nose. I have got concave in my tail and nose until the last 1.5 inches. Very slight, but you're gonna build a horseshoe, okay? And that's not a horseshoe. It's not a boomerang either, but you're going to build like this, and it's going to be thin on the inside and thick on the outside. And then you're going to build a bottom one. Okay. It's going to be thick on the inside, thin on the outside. They're going to match up to 0 change, and you're going to have a spooned pressed nose without having to change your concave. You have to get these placed pretty correctly on the press, but if you're pressing multiples, it'll mitigate force out. So you can do some changing as you go. You can figure things out. Now, why do you think this works, Lou? How dare you? How dare you, Lou Ross? Well, first of all, I don't dare. I'm terrified. What are you talking about? All right. What are you talking about? I'm absolutely terrified. You mean trying something? I haven't just tried it on paper, and even though I haven't wedged my tails this way, I sort of made this discovery, if we could call it that. That speaks to a whole philosophical issue I have with the term discovering or inventing. But I made this discovery because I started doing something that I think was pretty smart. I don't know. It was brainwave. I started making 8-ply tails. And I found out that if I added, and I didn't even bevel the wedge, I didn't even wedge them, I just stuck a piece, a 1.5 inch piece or a 2 inch piece in the total pressing. I just stuck a piece in the center of my layup. Actually, you have to go top or bottom of center. So I did top of center, and it made a beautiful little extra kick at the end, perfect compression. The gap filled with glue. It was glorious. And it's my opinion that it also stiffened the deck. It stiffened the tail. Super cool. And that was a flat wedge piece across the back, just a D wedge. And I thought, well, you know, if there's enough cushion in the system to handle throwing just a extra ply in the tail for more durability, I put them in the lower portion of the tail, below the center ply as well, and those dropped the bottom of the tail down just a little bit, also stiffening the back of the deck. So these are some thoughts. I hope you enjoyed them. This was a little tiny excursion into some ideas about board making that I have a feeling that there are makers in our group who are much more precise than I am, and who really could take these things and put them into use. The likelihood of me making a tri-tail is very low because I don't enjoy tri-tails. I tend to find it wobbles my ollies. I'm not good enough for those. So things I don't like to ride, I usually don't make a lot, because I'm a bit of a cripple creatively and industrially. My making is derived very heavily from my riding, and but some of you geniuses out there, and I mean it, you're really special, and you might take some of these ideas and really run with them, and I would be super stoked to see. Not just like, yeah, I'd just really be stoked to see that going on. I guess there is a high likelihood that I'll build some wedges for my presses and do some playing around with it. Of course, you'll be adhering them to the molds. You know, you're not just throwing them in there where they jiggle around. You're creating appliques on the molds, which is, I think that's awesome too. Well, I'm out of coffee. I think it's my last sip. Thank you for joining me. I'm gonna try to oversleep again tomorrow. I've been healing up from some pretty heavy physical hits I took this year. Man, I hope you're all okay. I do. I hope you guys are hanging in there. It's been weird. Everything's weird. I love you. Love you, buddy. Hang in there. I'll catch you soon.